Welcome, Ken, to this Tech Talk with Vijaya podcast. As I had discussed with you before, personally, for me as well as for our viewers, I would like to know a little bit more about your organization, why you started that, and what does it mean for you?
Well, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with you. And, um, you know, uh, this all started probably 15 years ago now. It's been a while now. But right after college in 2007, I wanted to travel the world and try to help and do some things, but I had never really been outside of the US. And so I lived in Ecuador for 6 months, and then I lived in Kenya for 6 months, and just wonderful experiences. But something happened in Kenya that I wasn't expecting. I was living and volunteering at a small orphanage right outside of Nairobi, Kenya, and probably it was early in my time there, maybe 2 or 3 weeks into my time there. One day, the kids and I were all walking together into the village down this dusty road, and I'll never forget. There was a little girl walking next to me, and she had on a beautiful white dress. But as I looked down, I was shocked at how small her shoes were. She was wearing these shoes that were just way too small for her feet. The shoes were so small, she had to cut open the front to let her toes stick out. And I don't know if she had never worn these shoes before or if I just hadn't noticed, but this was like the first time I was really seeing this. And so it just kind of stuck with me. It just really got to me.
Mhm.
And I looked around and noticed that many of the kids either had no shoes or they would do this. They would cut open the front of their shoes and let their toes stick out. And so it really just kind of got to me. And later that day, I asked the director of the orphanage, why do so many kids have shoes that don't fit? And
Mhm.
he told me that more than a year before, they'd received a great donation of clothes and shoes and things like that, but they had not received any more donations since then. And they were a very poor orphanage. Sometimes they barely had enough money for food and things like that. And so he said, we can't afford to buy the kids even a cheap pair of flip-flops or shoes every time their feet grow. And he
Mhm.
said, these are kids, their feet are growing all the time. And so they just have to do the best with what they have. And right then and there in that moment, I just thought, wouldn't it be nice if there was a pair of shoes that could adjust and expand their size? Wouldn't it be nice if there was a pair of shoes that could grow? Um, wow, like it just seems like that would make a lot of sense for these kids. And so I wrote it down. When I got back home, I still wanted to do something to help, even though I wasn't living right there anymore with those kids. And I thought, what could I do from home that could maybe make a difference? And so I went back to my journal, went back to that idea that I had written down about a growing shoe, and I decided to jump in with it. So that's really the beginning of our organization, which is called Because International. And the first project that I grabbed a few friends and we kind of jumped in with trying to make this growing shoe.
And I saw on your site that you named it Because International because everything starts off with a because. Is there a
Yeah, I like doing these types of interviews because I can kind of go a little more in depth, and I think it's kind of a fun reason. So when I got back home from that year of traveling, and I still wanted to do something to help, I I kind of knew that being home, I know life is going to get busy, right? Like I need to start to work, and I need to hang out with my family, and I'm sure I'll hang out with friends, and life just gets busy. And so I really thought to myself, okay, do I want to jump in with this project? Do I really want to take the time and the energy to commit to trying to make this happen? Because I didn't want to do it kind of half-hearted. And because I knew it would just, I would get too busy and I would kind of, I wouldn't continue. So I
Mhm.
thought, if I really want to do this, I need to decide to do this. And so I made a list of kind of reasons, kind of pros and cons, reasons why I should jump in and try to make this project happen, and then maybe reasons why I shouldn't. And my list of reasons for doing it was so much longer than the list of reasons not to. And each of those reasons started out with the word because. I really feel like I should do this project because of this and because of that. And it was so many good reasons that I just couldn't ignore it. And so I really made a firm decision. I'm going to commit, to trying to make this project happen. And I'm really glad I did, because I was able to carve out specific time and money and energy for me to work on this project. And again, life just gets so busy that if we don't do that with things that are important to us, they really will just kind of slide away, and we put them on the back burner. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided to name the organization. I went back to kind of went back to those reasons of why I did this in the first place. And that word because
Mhm.
just jumped off the page. And so that's why we're called, yeah, Because International.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's a different name. I mean, something
Sure.
that I had not looked at before. Now, are shoes the only one? Are shoes the only things that you provide through this organization, or are there other things as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to kind of finish the story, we did start with our shoes, and it actually took 6 years to design them and make the first batch, and it just lots of failures, lots of ups and downs. I didn't know what I was doing. I had never done anything in the shoe industry before. Um, so after 6 years, we finally had our first batch of 3,000 pairs of what we called the shoe that grows, and it can grow 5 sizes. It can last for years. And we started to get those out to partners and people that work with kids around the world. But it was very slow. It was really just a hobby in my life. And then April 2015, we accidentally went viral. We had a story come out online about our shoes, and it just took off. And we had just a wave of publicity over the rest of that year, and just an amazing. I mean, we just got really lucky. It just had a ton of publicity. So since then, since 2015, I've been doing this full time, and our organization has grown, our team has grown. To date, we have now distributed over 400,000 pairs of the shoe that grows.
I was about to ask
To
you that.
Yeah, so over 400,000 pairs to kids in over 100 countries, and it's just been such an honor to work with this project with our shoes. But a few years ago, we reached a point where we kind of thought, are we just a shoe organization, or do we feel like our mission could really include more than just our shoes? And so with our board and with some of our stakeholders and our team, we really decided, we think our mission is more than just shoes. We love what we're doing with our shoes, but we think there are more things we can do. And so our mission is to use products as solutions to alleviate poverty. And then one of those products is our shoes, but we felt like there are more products that we could work with to what we feel could be solutions to helping alleviate poverty. And so the way that we do that, we just started this about 2 years ago. The way that we do that is by coming alongside of global entrepreneurs who have an idea for a product that could make a difference. So something similar to the shoe that grows. Again, for me, it took 6 years to work on my idea. And if I didn't have some help along the way, I wouldn't have completed it. I would have quit, and just wouldn't have kept going. So I knew for me how important it was to have people come and help me. And so we thought there have to be other entrepreneurs around the world who see issues in their community, and they've got solutions. And if those solutions are in the form of products, which we feel is kind of our best area that we work with, So if they have an idea for a product that could make a difference, we want to come alongside and help them. And so it started out kind of one-on-one with coaching and mentoring. And now we offer a cohort, a 10-week online cohort where we take entrepreneurs through kind of every part of a business and product design and manufacturing and all of these elements that essentially we want to help them get to the next step with their idea. So some of our entrepreneurs, they're just working on the design and the prototype for their product, and we're able to help them make some progress there. Most of our entrepreneurs, they've already made at least some version of their product, and mostly they're struggling with how to get customers, how to make those sales or raise support, and so we're able to help them think more about their business model and how they can have success with either customers or donations, but people supporting their product. And all of this is in an effort to try to create jobs. We feel like job creation is one of the best ways to alleviate poverty. And so we want to help these entrepreneurs have success, get their amazing product out there, grow their business, create jobs, which will help lift up their communities. And so we're just so excited. We call it the Because Accelerator. And again, it's
I was about to ask, so that's what you were describing. And
yes,
alleviation of poverty is something I'm extremely passionate to support organizations that do that. That's a personal mission for me as well. And, that's one of the causes that I've always championed and supported regardless. So that's the accelerator program is what you're referring to as helping other entrepreneurs come up.
Correct. Yep. So we call that the Because Accelerator. And last year we had 2 cohorts of 15 entrepreneurs each, and they were just amazing cohorts, the best ones that we've ever done. We're so excited. Right now we're actually in the middle of a design competition, just a very simple competition. Submit your idea for a product that could make a difference, and we have a small prize. And we usually have 300 or 400 submissions. Incredible ideas. There are so many passionate, creative people in the world that have ideas for solutions for the problems that they see around them. And we're just honored to be able to come alongside some of these entrepreneurs and help them make progress with their ideas. And so that's the Because Accelerator. And those are mainly essentially the 2 things that we do. We work with the shoe that grows, and then we run the Because Accelerator.
So in Because Accelerator, are the companies that come as part of the programs locally here in the US, or are they global?
Yeah, good question. So they are global. We want to work with global entrepreneurs. We have worked with a few that are US based, or maybe they live in the US, but they're but essentially all of the ideas, all of the products and the impact of these products, we want to work with people that are making a kind of a global impact. So we might have someone here in the US. I live in Idaho. We've had a few entrepreneurs that I know from here in Idaho, but one of them, her organization works in Togo in Africa. And we've got an amazing entrepreneur who lives in Chicago, but her organization is in Lebanon, and that's where her impact is taking place. So, but for the most part, most of our entrepreneurs are based in Africa. We do have many that come from Asia. We haven't had very many from South America or some of the European countries yet. But we're excited to really specifically work with global entrepreneurs who have and we just work with physical product ideas. And so, there are, again, so many people who fit in those categories, global entrepreneurs who have product ideas. There are so many out there, and we're excited to try to work with as many as we can.
But do you charge them a fee to be in this program, or how does that work?
Yeah, we do not. So we are a nonprofit, and I guess we could charge, but one of the things that we love doing is providing as few barriers as possible, to receiving the help that we have. And we also we receive grants that help us administer the program, and part of those grants indicates that we won't charge for it. But we do have a pretty high commitment for the entrepreneurs. The 10 weeks that they're with us, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy, and so we really want to make sure that they're ready to have success within our accelerator program. And so it's a big lift for them. It's a big commitment, but yeah, there's no charge to be a part of it.
And so when earlier you mentioned about 100 countries, I know that this started in Africa. So and I think majority of work actually gets done in Africa, right? So what are some of those 100 countries that you are now, you have now expanded to?
Yeah, great question. So, yep, the idea started in Kenya, and we actually, a lot of my network, a lot of my friends there in Kenya, over the years, we've been able to really build just a strong platform, I guess, in Kenya. And so one great thing that we do is actually we produce all of our shoes in Kenya as well. So just a couple years ago, we made that switch, and we now produce 100% of our shoes in Kenya. So a lot of our shoes stay in Kenya. We have a small team there, and we keep inventory of our shoes there. So from Nairobi, we can get shoes around East Africa. So Uganda and Ethiopia and Tanzania. We can get our shoes around East Africa very economically and pretty fast. So we love doing that. The rest of our shoes, we do have an inventory here in the US, here in Idaho, where our office is. And then from here, we mostly get them out to partners who are then taking the shoes to different countries around the world. And so we do the majority of our shoes stay in East Africa. But of those 100 countries, it's interesting, a lot of our shoes stay right around the equator. So we have many of our shoes go to parts of Central America, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. They kind of swing through sub-Saharan Africa, and then the majority are in East Africa, and then in some parts of Asia and India as well. But again, kind of the way our model works, we don't distribute many shoes ourselves. We work primarily with partners. So if there is an organization, an orphanage, church, university, I mean, whoever it might be, anybody who's working with kids, if those kids are in need of shoes, we love connecting with those leaders and finding out if our shoes would be a good fit, for those kids. And then essentially, we just connect our shoes to those partners. And so many times people here in the US, we will send our shoes to someone in Los Angeles, and then they will travel with our shoes. They'll check them onto the airplane. They'll travel with those shoes and take them down to Nicaragua or some country where they're working, and then they'll hand deliver the shoes to the kids that they work with. So we work with a lot of small partners. Most of our shoes, it's not thousands of shoes that are going to one location. It's usually more in the 50 or 60 pairs of shoes that go with a small partner to a specific group of kids that they work with. And so we love doing it kind of grassroots, kind of small scale that way, and making sure the shoes are going right to the kids who need them the most.
I was about to ask you, how do you vet out the actual neediness of that, person getting it, in the sense that, is there a strong vetting process that it actually goes to the folks that you want it to go to, so there is no, you have to make sure, right? I mean, there are
for sure
organizations all across the world, and if you identify certain organizations and you have this kind of partner program, how do you ensure that the kids that actually need this are getting it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's really important to us. We have strong language about not reselling our shoes and different things like that. But part of it, it's kind of for lack of a better phrase, kind of a put your money where your mouth is kind of a situation. So our shoes, we do charge our partners who work with our shoes. Charge is probably the wrong word, but it's they need to make a donation to receive our shoes. Our shoes are $20 a pair. And that price point helps us continue sustainably continue the work that we're doing. So as we work with these partners, some of them have budget where they're able to make that donation for our shoes and be able to, and then we'll send those shoes to them and they get those to their kids. A lot of organizations and groups we work with, we help them fundraise for the cost of the shoes and then send them the shoes and then they get those to the kids. So part of it, the vetting process, part of it really is kind of seeing who cares about this enough to put some money down. Who cares about our shoes and the kids that they're serving enough that they'll fundraise for a few months to be able to make this happen. And that right there probably weeds out a lot of people that maybe just want to get a free pair of shoes and not really do anything with them. So as we work with these partners, that's kind of the first step, I guess. And then we just get to know them, through the communication that we have, we get to know them. We ask lots of questions about the kids that they're serving. We do try to size the shoes for the kids, and we have different colors. So we can, I think pretty quickly, we can kind of tell if someone really doesn't know the kids that they're trying to get the shoes to. But you're right, it is important to vet partnerships. And unfortunately, there are some people out there that try to take advantage of certain things that are offered. But we are so proud of our partnerships. We're so proud of the partners that are just so committed to the kids that they're serving. And if our shoes can be a benefit to those kids, then we just love connecting with those partners and helping make it happen. We often receive photos and communication, on the back end after they have done their shoe distribution. And many of our partners come back and a few years later and receive more shoes and connect those to more kids. So we love working with partners. It does take some effort, but it's worth it. We love the partners that we have.
You had also mentioned, I saw this in one of your probably interviews out on your site, about partnerships with Girl Scout organizations here. Is that something that you intend to do more on, broader, I would say, with other organizations?
Yeah, that's a great find. Great point there. You did your research. Good job. I don't think anyone's
sure, right? I mean, I want every viewer that's looking at this, wanting to help in some shape or form. So,
I'm so glad you brought it up. I don't think I've ever had anybody ask me about that, but it's one of my favorite partnerships that we have. So a few years ago, a Girl Scout troop reached out to us, and they do a really cool thing. I believe this is all Girl Scouts, although I could be wrong. So the more cookies they sell, they get some points, kind of like reward points. And then they have like a catalog where they can go in at the end of the year and use their points to receive, stickers and T-shirts and just kind of fun things that they can use for those points. So they asked if they could put our shoes in their catalog, not for the girls to receive, but for $20 a pair, or forever how many points that is, that they could send a pair of our shoes to a child around the world. And so we did that. We put our shoes in their catalog, and we were so humbled by how many girls used their reward points to go for shoes for other kids. And then more Girl Scout troops jumped on board and they put it in their catalogs. And it's really a big program for us now. And it wouldn't be possible without the generosity of these 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, these young girls who, instead of getting a gift for themselves based on their reward points, they are being so generous and so kind, and they're sponsoring shoes that are going to other kids around the world. And so we'd love to do more of that. We'd love to have more Girl Scout troops join us. We'd also love to find more, whether it's organizations or companies or kind of groups, like Girl Scouts, but anybody who wants to impact kids and is kind of touched by what we're trying to do with our shoes. We would love to set up a partnership. Again, this Girl Scout partnership just started with one troop, and now it's really grown. We'd love to do that with other groups as well. So if anybody listening, or anybody that sees this, if you're interested in ways that we could partner, we would love to set something up with you. And this is how our shoes get to these kids, is by people. Every dollar, every $20, every dollar makes a difference, and every pair of shoes makes a difference. And so, and anybody listening, let's make it happen. We'd love to talk to you about ways to partner.
Two questions around that, and this may be a dumb question, but is there, when you keep referring as kids, right, for the shoes, so I assume it's, you're basing it off of age or the shoe size or something, right?
Yeah, good question. So our shoes grow 5 sizes. So each pair of shoes can grow 5 sizes. And then, not to be confusing, but so the shoes come in 5 sizes. So we have a very small size. That's we call it the extra small, and that can fit basically a toddler, almost like probably a 3-year-old to maybe a 6-year-old child. Our most popular sizes are our small and our medium and our large, but then we also offer an extra large size that runs from a men's size 8 to a men's size 12. Right. So anywhere from a toddler up to a men's size 12, we can fit those feet in our shoes. But our most popular sizes are kind of in those middle ranges. So anywhere from about ages 6 or 7, probably up to age 12 or 13. Those are the majority of our shoes. But again, they can be a little smaller and they can be a little bit bigger. I wear a men's size 10, and I wore a pair of our shoes every single day for 5 years. And so a lot of adults do wear them. A lot of older kids that have big feet. Again, it can fit up to a men's size 12, and we're happy to kind of get anybody's shoes who needs them. But for the most part, we're working with kids.
Okay. Another question on the goals, right? Is there a certain goal you have that you want to reach for 2022, as far as how many? I think you said 400,000 so far, right? So is there a particular goal you want to hit that, our viewers can help you hit that goal?
Yeah, great question. So, the 2 big targets that we're shooting for a little further out by 2030 are 2 big targets that kind of drive our organization. We're trying to distribute 1 million pairs of shoes by 2030, and we're trying to create 10,000 jobs. So those are our 2 big targets we're always shooting towards. And so for this year, for 2022, our goal is to distribute 40,000 pairs. That would be a home run if we can distribute 40,000 pairs this year, and create 250 jobs. In many ways, we're just kind of starting on the job creation as our accelerator gets up and running. Our shoes, we've been doing it for a little while, but 40,000 pairs would be an awesome year for us. And so we're, it's a little ways into the year already, and we're off to a good start. But if anybody wants to help us make those goals happen, that would be wonderful.
2 questions before I leave you here is I know a lot of our viewers will look at this and say, how can I help? So are you looking for volunteers as well? If there are viewers that want to help, without having to put the donation up front, are there volunteering efforts that you're looking at? And the other thing is also, what are some of the ways that our viewers can help you?
Yeah, great question. So, we do love volunteers. We're a little bit of a different nonprofit. We don't have tons of ways to volunteer, but there are some, and they really do make a difference for us. I'll start with one on the accelerator side. We connect our entrepreneurs in our cohorts, in our trainings, to volunteer coaches, and that's one of the best ways to volunteer. It makes a big difference for the program. It makes a really big difference for the entrepreneurs. And so if anybody's listening and they have some business experience, or maybe they themselves are an entrepreneur and they would love to help coach a young entrepreneur that's just getting started, please reach out to us. We have an application that you can let us know, who you are and a little bit about you, and we'd love to have more. We're actively trying to find more volunteer coaches that can help in our accelerator program. The other great way to volunteer, and it's maybe a little different, but it really does make a difference for us, kind of on the shoe side, but it could be with our accelerator as well. But we're always looking to be connected to people that work with kids, or even people that have ideas for products. We rely on word of mouth to find our partners, to find the entrepreneurs that we work with, and sometimes they can be a needle in a haystack. But we know that there are people out there that have great ideas, and there are groups out there that are working with kids that really need our shoes. And so it doesn't need to be a donation necessarily, but just an introduction, just helping us network and connect. So if anybody out there knows organizations, churches, groups that are working with kids, we'd love to talk to them. And so feel free to reach out to us, and we'd love to make that connection. And of course, as a nonprofit, we do love donations. As we receive funding, we're able to do more of our work. We're able to do more with the accelerator. We're able to get more shoes to kids. But all of these things, whether you want to be a volunteer coach or help connect us to an organization, or just make a donation, you can do all these things at our website, which is �BecauseInternational.org. That's the best place to go. It is kind of a weird name, and so if you don't remember that, you can Google the shoe that grows. If you Google us, we jump right up there, and I think we're the first one there. And so yeah, Google us, or just go to �BecauseInternational.org.
I will add all that information in the comment section of our podcast as well.
Oh, so fantastic. Fantastic.
But what you're doing, Ken, is remarkable. I mean, your whole story is remarkable of how you started this, your mission, and we need a lot of folks, more folks like that, who can think beyond just themselves, right? Helping the organization, helping people that are in need. And I think during this COVID times, lots of folks have realized that there has to be something that all of us have to actually contribute to the better good. So I truly thank you for your time here. I truly appreciate. I am sure that our viewers who are listening to this will reach out to you directly, or if they reach out to me, I will of course send them to you, and we will add all that information into our comment section as well. But again, I truly appreciate you taking this time. Thank you.
Thank you. This was a pleasure. You are very good at this. Great questions. You're so well prepared, and this was fun. Thank you so much. This was great. And if ever I can do anything to help you, please let me know. Count me as a friend, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.